Spiritual authority, right of consciousness. These things perhaps are things that you've heard at some point in your life. By right of my spiritual authority, or by right of consciousness. What do these things mean? What do they call forth from within us? What Brother DeVoe is inviting us into is our spiritual authority, or claiming an experience of our spirit by right of consciousness. By right of consciousness, which means essentially that we've embodied something and are now living by it, so that when we demonstrate something in our lives, it's not on a bed of quicksand, but rather on a solid platform of spiritual authority, or by right of consciousness, that I step into my life, I step into my experience of understanding that my life is the life of the Spirit. And that each of us are called in this framework in which we practice, in this perennial philosophy, in this, as Ernest Holmes call it, this correlation of the laws of science and the opinions of philosophy and the revelations of religion, this thing called the science of mind. Through our spiritual study, our contemplation, and our prayer is to actually assume an inward position of realizing where we really come from and who we really are. And we might consider that blasphemous if we're attempting to speak it and be it and live it from a place less than right of consciousness or spiritual authority. Are you with me so far? That there's a movement of consciousness within us where actually we take our seat at the right hand of the Mother. Take our seat at the right hand of the Father. And be still and know that I am. I've got this sign up in my office at home. Be still and know that I am. The rest of that, of course, if you want to, you can add God to it, but it's not necessary, because another name for God is I am. When Moses revealed himself, or when God revealed himself itself, the presence and the power to Moses, it said, behold, what is your name? Moses asked. Well, tell me your name. And then the power and the presence that revealed itself, the burning bush, said, I am that I am. I am that I am. And so each of us are breaking out into, literally day by day through our existence and our livingness from the place that we come from. I love how Emerson said that, a doorway through which the infinite makes itself known in the finite, that's our livingness. And so there's a spiritual dignity that comes along with that. When I think about that, I want to roll my shoulders back a little bit and stand a little bit taller. There's a dignity and a spiritual authority and a right of consciousness that comes along with that our practice, that our contemplation, that what is he saying here? Man, did I save the place? That's what a professional would do, would save his place. A professional would do that. Well, whatever. That we're whatever. That's what professionals say in their great oratory as well, right, Gene? Whatever. That's right. That we're meant to grab spiritual substance, to find those authors, those speakers, those musicians that stir us somehow, that afflict our comfort and comfort our affliction, so that we're called to grow, so that we're called to become, so that we're called to mature. Now, I love what Ernest Holmes says. Ernest Holmes says, one's mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, and from prayer to performance. One's mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, and from prayer to performance. The theme of the morning is speak and see the world that you want to live in. Do not be a victim of the world, but understand our spiritual authority and understand our right of consciousness and how that works and the capacity for us to speak and see the world that we want to live into, and then participate in the principle that says believing is seeing. That what you believe, you will see. That what we consider and contemplate will be the experience of our life. And so when we're moving from prayer to performance, in prayer we're contemplating our oneness with the Spirit. In prayer, the first step of this gift that was given to us called spiritual mind treatment is to understand that God is, that there is a presence and a power and a love that we call God, and then to realize that I am living that presence life, that I am an expression of it, that I am a potency of it, that I'm a power of it. So in prayer, we are considering what we really are, and then we're moving into performance. Holmes says, go live. Contemplation to action, and from meditation to performance, whatever words you want to use. But to spend time. That's why I love Brother Richard Rohr's organization is called the Center for what? Contemplation and Action. Is that what it's called? Contemplation and action. Contemplate. Do we spend time contemplating who we really are? Are we spending time contemplating how messed up everything is? I love one of Dr. King's sermons from back in the day. I think I've played it in here. It was, I don't know, a year or so ago. He's like, the world's all messed up. Everybody's crazy and losing their minds, no matter kind of what. It's like, there's fear and there's trepidation and there's things going on, but are we spending time realizing who we really are? And that my life is a spiritual prototype. And that everything's a holographic projection of my consciousness. Because however many people are in this room, we all see life, the same thing that's happening, in a different way. We have a different experience of sitting in this room right now. God's expressing itself uniquely through you. Are we spending time contemplating our spiritual nature? I ask you this morning, are you spending time contemplating your true nature? Are you spending time in inspiration? Spending time being inspired? And then moving that inspiration out into the world? Spending time in prayer? Realizing my communion, my oneness with life, with the Spirit. Spending time imagining a beautiful world filled with color and creativity and beauty and joy. Einstein said, what did Einstein say? Many things, didn't Einstein? Said a lot of stuff. One of the things Einstein said is that imagination is more important than what? Knowledge. Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. What could he possibly mean? What was he even talking about, really? Because Einstein was knowledgeable. But first, what did he do? He imagined, didn't he? And then he went and got busy in the laboratory proving his imaginations. Isn't that fantastic? To think that we could spend time in our spiritual laboratory imagining a world that is so beautiful and magnificent, where all of our needs are met, where we have creativity, where we have beautiful relationships, where we have financial affluence, where we have a healthy body. We spend time imagining these things, and then we go out and prove it in our own lives. Imagination, knowledge is something we know already. Imagination has us on the edge of ourselves, doesn't it? It has me on the edge of myself to consider what's next. Is it really as good as it gets? Is this as good as it gets? In an infinite, is there room for more? Is there room for more beauty? More health? Is it possible that I could actually heal my body? through the contemplation, through the imagination of every cell of my body being lit up with health? Is it possible that my financial condition could be expanded through a contemplation of there being plenty? Is it possible that I experience and welcome new friendships into my life by the contemplation of being a good friend and considering that the entire world is my friend? Is it possible to activate profound creativity from within by considering that I'm not some lowly, uneducated whatever, that I'm creative because of who I come from, of where I come from? To heal the entirety of our lives, to bring them into communion and union with the divine prototype, from prayer to performance, from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge. To imagine a world, living in a world that you love. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying keep it up if you do. I'm saying if you don't, we could get busy doing it. Who's ready for more joy in their lives? More joy. Who has enough joy? Do you have enough? There's more joy. Possibility of a greater joy. A friendship, of community, of prosperity, of an experience of like, not the experience of like, but the experience of being fulfilled. So that day by day, a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time, perhaps where I doubted before, there's less doubt. Where I was afraid before, there's a little bit less fear. Where I worried, there's a little bit less worry. That there's actually a movement of consciousness taking place. Do you understand? There's a movement of our livelihood taking place. We're becoming more fulfilled. We're actually fulfilling the promise. This whole spiritual walk is for us. Short circuit. Short circuit. The human condition is a strong gravitational pull, isn't it? Right? Worry, doubt, fear, anxiety. It's got a strong, I got to feed my body, addiction and feeling lost and alone and the things that go along with being a human being, these emotions and these feelings. It's challenging, isn't it? No, damn right, it's hard sometimes. It's hard. It's got strong gravitational pull. But we've got these things, gang. These things called truths and community, and we have each other and spiritual truths and the blessings of the Einsteins and the Ernest Holmes and the Walter DeVoes and the Walter Drews. To be reminders of us, of who we really are. I mean, seriously, actually, I think about Walter and it brings joy to my heart. That's a practice. Me and him have had a good time in cities all over this country. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Yes. The God in me sees the God in you. That was your summary of the 100%. Absolutely. And see, and that's a perfect example of metabolizing, of making our own these spiritual truths, these ideas, so that we become freer, more ourselves, more alive. We don't have all the life that we can possibly live. And it's not that more is better. It's just that more is possible. And so a little bit by a little bit, because I suffer from the disease of more. It's got to be more. Got to be more. I have to bring myself back to now. All the life there is now already. And so let me clear out all the clutter, this That was the short circuit. It was the short circuit is the gravitational pull of humanity is so thick that through our spiritual practice, through our practice, the game is to see what the game is. And to play it, and to play it at a high level, and to continue to get free. Now, each one of us have our unique identification with this thing we call heaven. What is heaven? Each of us have our own idea about it. We talked about it at a class this last week. What is heaven? Well, we each have our own idea of heaven, which is a beautiful thing. And let us each continue to be moving in the direction of our heaven through our practice, through our community, through our walk, through being together. Spend time in prayer and then perform. Another way it's said is treat and move your feet. Spiritual mind treatment, and then go act. Walk it out. But we must, as Brother DeVoe says, we must spend time remembering who we are, or else our action will not be guided by our spiritual authority. It will be guided by our fear, our worry, anxiety, the trepidation, the doubt. But let my action be guided by my love, my appreciation, my creativity, my desire to see beauty. And then not wait for beauty to happen, but be it. Bring beauty to the party, baby. You bring beauty to the party. You bring love to the party. You bring joy to the party. You bring appreciation to the party. You walk into the room not waiting to react to the room, but cause the room. Cause the room. Cause your life. Is it easy? Not necessarily, no. Possible? Absolutely. A worthy game? You betcha. Cause the room. Cause the room. Walk into it, whatever your job is. Cause the day. Your relationship. Cause it. Your financial affairs. Every teaching on prosperity says, don't necessarily pray for more. Pray for appreciation. More will come. Pray for appreciation in our relationship. Pray to love. Oh, I can pray and pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. I want to make her different. Going to wake up today and she's going to be different. Hasn't worked yet. Pray for appreciation. Pray for love. Not to make things right, but to see them rightly. I pray not to set things right, but to see them rightly. Spiritual authority, right of consciousness. We're expanding into a greater experience of our good, a greater appreciation. Right seeing, believing is seeing, a right belief. Let's just take a moment and pray and anchor this idea this morning and recognize that there is one power and presence that is the I am, that is being itself as each one of us right now. And the work that we do is to demonstrate that, to have an awareness of it, to cut through the clutter, to cut through the stuff, to cut through the junk, and to see that like Michael Jackson in the Billie Jean video, that where I step, the ground lights up underneath me. The ground lights up because I'm living in an at oneness, in an at one-ment, with a oneness, with a realization that I live in a spiritual system that is designed to support and empower and enliven me and us and life. And so I participate with that. I take great joy in it. I'm grateful for this awareness. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for the way that we gather this morning to participate with each other and to sing and to hear words and to pray and to speak and to fellowship and to commune. I'm grateful for it. I release my word as a law unto itself for anybody knowing their oneness. When we speak, when we pray, the answer is in the prayer itself. Prayer does something to the one praying, so when we speak, let our mind be transformed and be grateful for it. In one word, I call it good. We let it be, and so it is.